This is part 2 of the newsletter page update. What I've done from part 1 is only simply to save the work that I've done. So what you can see here is the newsletter as it looks now. Now you can see that it still needs a lot of formatting to look like the original newsletter, which, if I can bring it up, looks similar to this. So one of the first things that you will notice that this is all in formatted block text, and this here is all centered. So it has to do with the tag that I changed, so I'm going to fix that first. So going into the editor, as you can see, there I am in the editor now, and this is the article. What I now need to do is to go back into the source, and if you remember correctly, we added this tag, but we never closed the tag, and for that reason everything after that tag is now centered. So what I got to do is I got to find the end of the table there, and then after that I'll have to insert the less than sign, and then say div, actually yes, but it should be /div. That means I am closing, to show you, I am closing the tag that I created there. So if I go back now, I suspect that everything will be okay, and center it nicely so we can see, and you can now see that it is not centered anymore. So everything seems to be okay. Now bringing back the original document, you can see, I'm just going to put it there, you can see that there and there, you can see that there we have centered, and at last up to this stuff at last, and then thereafter things are not centered. So everything up to there should be centered, up to that one at last. Now we have a pavilion, and then from there on things shouldn't be centered until we get down to the new pavilion part of this document. Okay, so again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the document, put it on my other screen next to this editing area, and then I'm going to try and follow and do some formatting so we can see it. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the picture and put it onto the server. So there's the document. So what I need to do is that picture there, which I now selected, you can see with the little handles. I am going to save that as a picture, and it's going to ask me where do I want to save this, and I'm going to save it where I save everything that I use on the websites, and I'm going to Whitney Town Bowls Club website. I'm going to go to the images, and I'm going to save it here somewhere, and I need to give it a name. You will see it'll save it as a portable network graphics image. I'm going to call it newsletter image. Okay, click on save and find that again. No, this is not where I want to find it. To show you, I'll have to find it there under images, and you can see there's quite a lot of images which didn't show before but shows up now, and I call it the newsletter image. If I change that to bigger images, that is the image that I'm talking about. Now all I need to do is use that image and put it onto the server, which I will demonstrate now. Move this away. So what I need to do, so I need to see if this works. I'm going to try and do this. This is where the image is supposed to be. So if I click with the right hand mouse button on it, it tells me that the image properties, I can go into the image properties and see what we get there. It tells me that there is no image, as you can see there. So what I need to do is I need to browse the server. Then I need to decide where I want to put the image. Now as you can see, let's see, we've got banners and we've got competitions, headers, icons, June gallery. So I would suggest that we create a folder, and we will just call that content. Let's not call it content, let's call it news. Of course we can always change this at some other point in time if we want to. Newsletter. So all the images we're ever going to use on the newsletter page will be put in this subdirectory. So I'm going to go to that subdirectory, then I'm going to choose my file. It presents me with this open a file thing. I need to go to the Google Drive, I need to go to the websites, I need to go to Whitney Town Bowls Club folder, oops, I need to go to the images folder, and that is the image I want to upload. So I open that and I send it to the server. Click on the image, that's what the image looks like. I say OK, and it has added the image to the page. And this is how you could do that. So if I now compare that with the original page, I've taken the original image and put it in there, and hopefully that's good enough. Right, and then I need to just follow on and do some changes as I see it. Now for instance, that was much bigger text. It is not shown as bold. What I'm going to do is it says heading 2. I'm going to change that to just normal, and then I'm going to choose the text size. Let's make that 26, and I'm going to change the color to red. That's what that looks like, and that's what it looks like on the document. A different type of font, but at least it's also red. That part there was really bold. I'm also going to change that, shouldn't be heading 2. I'm also going to make that normal, but I'm going to change the size to something like 22. and there you have RAM. The online newsletter also need to be larger, and that is actually larger than the word RAM, so I'm going to make that 26. For Whitney Town Bowls Club, I'll change that to bold. Could make it a little bit bigger. I'll make that 18. Yes, 18 seems to be fair. I'm going to delete that line to make the block a little bit smaller. And now if I compare what I have there to what it was like there, it looks very similar. So looks fair enough. Obviously I can change the 2014 to a much larger size like that, 2014 September, and looking at that, that looks almost the same. Probably, yeah, I think that is good enough. Of course, it can be changed even more if we want to. Going to take that away, and then I notice that that line there should be red, and I'm going to change the size to, let's say, 20. Move that up a little bit. This seems to be, it needs to be in red as well, and the size seems to be okay. Right, now another thing that you will find is that if you look at this, you can see that the spacing between the paragraphs are quite drastic. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the whole document a little bit so that we can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all the text, everything. I'm then going to change the format from normal to normal div. That seems to do a better job with spacing. As you can see, the spacing became much better. So that is fair enough. Yeah, everything looks pretty good at this time. Right, this video has already gone down for about 13 minutes, so it can only be 15 minutes long, so I'm going to just change all this text, I think, to red. Just looking at, except for the at last stuff, all that stuff must be red text. The rest shouldn't be red, it seems. Looking at the rest of it here, yeah, I think that looks pretty good so far. And then last thing I'm going to do before I end this video is to change that text to quite a big size, something like that. I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to stop the video, and I'll do part 3 of this video to carry on with the changes. As you can see, it is now successfully saved, and we'll carry on with a new video.